YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back with another online battle. And again, I mentioned it in the last video, but I'll briefly mention it here. If you're like, Heir, where's the campaign? I just got back from Thanksgiving. I haven't gotten a chance to record anymore yet. I will definitely get it to you this week. I think it'll be Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday when you'll see it. So keep an eye out for it then. And I'm definitely going to keep those going and finish them before Attila comes out. So never fear. So, I wanted to bring you all something different and fun and kind of a scenario set up here. So what I asked for in this scenario of the players who were involved was that we had a Carthage and an Iberian ally versus Rome and a Massilian ally, and this is the Battle of Massilia. It's a siege battle. And we're going to see how this turns out. I had some thoughts on how my army could potentially be useful, and we'll see whether or not it was indeed useful. Now, my teammate is playing as the Lusitani. Let's take a look at his army real quick. Well, you can see it. He's got some veteran shield warriors in these three different towers. And I can't tell. Yeah, it looks like it's the biggest tower. That's what you always want to bring. Anyway, and he's got some more veteran shield warriors here. 2 Lusitani nobles. Iberian swordsmen back here. And then he's got 4 Balearic slingers. Potentially very useful units, but the question is going to be whether or not they can get good shots. 2 light cavalry. That'll be interesting to see. They have a chevron each. And then he's got a couple of Scutari spearmen. And then as far as my army, I've got right here 3 Scutari with a couple of chevrons to give them attack that's more on par with the Romans, except their melee defense will be much higher. It's just their armor won't be as high as the Romans. So I was kind of hoping I could level the playing field with a couple of chevrons. And then I've got a Libyan infantry is here as well. I've got 2 late Libyan hoplites, one pushing a battering ram, and the other is just going to be missile fodder. And then back here I've got 2 mercenary noble fighters and 2 sacred band hoplites, which are going to be hopefully the meat of my army. And then I've also got 1 African elephant that I'm going to try and save for late game, hopefully to get me in a good position. And I've got 3 mercenary Gallic warriors just as more sword fodder here. And then of course my general's bodyguard. Now the Romans were limited to pre-Marian Rome in order to make this more interesting. And to be honest, Rome should be near unbeatable in certain situations. I wouldn't say they're unbeatable in a siege situation, because pikes can also be very useful. I guess we've been bombarding the city. Because pikes can also be very useful. But Roman infantry is extraordinarily good, and trying to beat them in a grind out and choke point positions can be very hard. Hoplites are also a very useful unit in these types of battles because of stuff like this. Pikes obviously are also quite good at this. But you can see these hoplites can block off certain choke points. So see how the Massilian player's like, hey, I'm not even going to fight you for the walls. I'm just going to fight you when you come out the door. And that's a tough but effective defense, honestly. And the Lusitani, the biggest problem for them here is going to be that their low armor is going to make them quite vulnerable to all the tower fire. And there is going to be a lot of tower fire in these battles. The Lusitani teammate and I both brought battering rams to batter down the gates. And when I look back on it, this was kind of foolhardy. Well, actually not entirely foolhardy. It would have been okay to bring one. But I should have traded this battering ram, which I decided not to use, and traded it for a tortoise so I could have punched a hole in the wall over here. And you'll see why later. My opponent has 3 Syrian archers, which are now becoming visible. And he actually does start firing at my, my Libyan hoplites, which I was actually very encouraging for me, because if I can get him to use his ammo, my elephants are going to be very hard for him to stop. So we'll kind of see how that works out. Anyway, you can see my towers here are armed with a little scorpion on top, and they're going to actually do quite a bit of damage to the Romans on approach. Those guys are down to 99 already. The scorpions are pretty dangerous to the units on the walls. One of them must be firing at these archers, and these ones here, because I've gotten a couple of hits. I wish they would have all been firing at the infantry, to be honest. I guess I could have turned off fire at will and then turned it back on. Yeah, it looks like the Scorpions didn't necessarily spread out their damage across these Principes, which is too bad. Because this unit here took some pretty serious damage. And the Principes also have their Pilla turned on, which won't do a ton of good, because my guys have these huge towers. And maybe some of the javelins can get through those windows. I don't know why in the world you'd have those windows open while you're on approach, but whatever. I guess they just want to smell the fresh air. But yeah, anyway, this is going to be a long battle, as you can see from the timer here. Let's take a look at the overhead, and we'll just kind of take a look at the problems that each of us face. So my Scutari are going to have a pretty close fight with these Principes, though I would give the edge to the Principes here, just by a little because of their armor. But my Scutari are going to be pretty closely matched with them here. My Libyan infantry, not as well. but I am going to bring reinforcements to him. But my guys are fighting on the walls, and they're going to be under tower fire. And I have broken the gates, and I'm going to start trying to get in here and take away the gate towers from my opponent. Now, he has 4 Triarii inside. Perhaps maybe he was thinking he might have to stop elephants, or just using them as a holding defense. They are very tough spearmen, though I would have gone with swords, to be honest. But yeah, see here the Lusitani player's trying to get down off the walls, and he goes into this Massilian hoplite phalanx with his veteran shield warriors. That fight is actually going fairly well for him at the moment. Better than I would have expected, actually. Those Massilian hoplites are getting eaten alive by these veteran shield warriors. Impressively so, actually. But they've got more reinforcements here as well. So I don't know how well that can go. Now over here with the gatehouse, his veteran shield warriors were going to take a lot of damage. He probably should have used Iberian swords to come through and just soak up the tower fire. But that's just my recommendation. Now his Balearic slingers are firing at guys on the wall too. I don't recommend this. The Balearic slingers firing at the guys on the wall and the javelins being hurled at the guys on the wall won't do you a lot of good, because if you look, almost all the projectiles are bouncing off, and then I don't know if you can see them or not, but they'll be piling up here at the bottom of the wall. Yeah, you can see all the javelins and stuff falling there. So don't shoot at guys on the wall. It won't do you a lot of good, and you need this precious ammo potentially for late in the game. Like, so think about it. If he were to make a breakthrough and then have these Balearic slingers for late game, if an opponent tried to streak camp, you know, like say set up like a defensive force right here, then you could just shoot him out with Balearic slingers. Anyway, these veteran shield warriors were doing great, but now look what the Massilian player is doing. See how he pulls these guys away from the wall, and then he can come in from all sides and destroy the veteran shield warrior. So that's why these situations can be dangerous. Now on the front with the Romans, my guys are doing quite well. I mean, they're putting up a pretty even fight with these Principes. The problem is I'm outnumbered. But at the gatehouse, the fight is not going well for me. These Triarii are more than a match for holding my men. And then his Syrian archers are actually pretty well positioned. He's still using his ammo, which again gives me hope that my elephants will be able to come in here. And that makes a pretty cool picture. Yeah. Definitely a cool picture. Hold on, I'm trying to get it. Yeah, I might use this thumbnail. But yeah, in any case, you can see him doing like a nice kind of murder hole setup here where he's going to just shoot my guys and push him back with his Triarii. Again, he is spending ammo, albeit he is expending it kind of slowly. So again, I just need to be patient with the elephants. But the problem is if he starts beating down my infantry and it's too late, I won't be able to do anything. Now, I am starting to break through his Principes on the wall. These 2 units are going down, but he's still got 3 more on the wall. So yeah, he's definitely got a lot of defense. So if I were him, I might would have taken this Principe unit, come down off the wall, brought it through here, come up on this wall, and then, well, I can't draw on the wall, but I would have come here and taken out these units. But that's just me. Me coming head-on towards the Romans like this with the siege towers was probably not the best decision. I probably should have used the tortoises and just busted holes in his wall, and then had pikemen lead in with pikemen who can push his units back from the hole in the wall, and then have swords come in behind them and start fanning out. If I had it to do over again, that's what I'd do, but we'll see how this goes. Obviously, I'm making some headway. I'm killing some of his Roman units here, but I'm also taking heavy losses, and if you notice, these mercenary noble fighters, which are great units, aren't able to get their charge against the Romans, and they're getting bunched up into this kind of combat, and it's just really not allowing them to prove their real strength here. And again, you can see the tower fire coming down, and the fire from the Syrian archers, and it's really picking away at my men quite badly. Whoops. And it's just not helping. Now on the front with the Lusitani and the Massilians, the fight's definitely in a slow grind out as well. These Massilian hoplites are going to hold out here at the gates forever, and his veteran shield warriors put up a valiant fight but just got destroyed. And over here it looks like he's going to bring up a Lusitani noble. And let's see, these veteran shield warriors, or Iberian swordsmen, sorry, have, looks like, taken away the tower. He's just afraid to move them, I think. He can't bring them down right here. He probably should have brought them down over here just to get some pressure off his guys at the gate. Maybe brought some more units up here. They'd all have to come out here, though, so I'm not sure that would work. So the Massilian players got these Gallic hunters, too, have been doing some shooting. Let's see if they've gotten decent kills. They have. The Lusitani are fairly unarmored opponents. And it's Massilia and Hoplites here mopping up that veteran shield warrior, though it did get quite a few kills. And here comes the nobles. The problem is that tower just got recaptured too, and it's going to get shots on this Lusitani noble, which kind of sucks for the Lusitani player. But these nobles are going to be a fairly tough unit, and they're definitely going to be taking the fight to these Massilian Hoplites. And as soon as that tower stops firing, these nobles are going to put up quite a fight here. At least I think they will. And that tower's about to stop firing. You can see the Lusitani nobles only have a few men down there, so we'll see how the kills go. They are pretty surrounded. So, anyway, the fight between Rome and Carthage is going to grind on for a long time. And again, you can see whenever my mercenary noble fighters do get up here to fight the Triarii, they can't really get spread out, and they can't really get any kills. So, unfortunately, they have massive killing power, but it's just kind of being wasted on these high armor, high defense units. And it's just not doing me anything. And again, see his archers here just kind of slowly spewing arrow fire down here into my men. And it's very, very bad for my men right now. Now, again, he is spending ammo, and this is looking optimistic for me from getting my elephants in. Here, he's trying to use his equites, but I brought down a Scutari that's actually caught his general and is going to kill it. And then my Sacred Band is just going to absolutely mop the floor with these equites. And not going to be any match at all. The Sacred Band have come in handy. They've been supporting the morale of my troops on the walls, and my general's also been there supporting them and really helping to try and even the odds between the Romans and my troops. Yeah, he's going to take this unit of equites and try and come around for a better angle. Now, this is actually the victory point. If someone captures this, they win the battle, and you'll see how that plays in later, if it plays in. Some of you don't like that, and sometimes people like myself will forget that when playing the battle as well. So like, for instance, maybe leaving holding troops here and taking a couple of Sacred Band to the victory point. That would have had to pull some of his guys away from the wall and potentially leave some room to get my elephants in. Now, the fight between the Lusitani and the Massilian, let's see how that's going. Let's see how the nobles are doing. The nobles now have 65 kills and have only lost 30 men. Not super cost effective for them, and now they're surrounded, getting countercharged by Massilian Hoplites, who actually do have a nice charge bonus. So that's going to hurt. So those nobles are probably going to end up getting wasted there as well. And look, we got more Iberian swordsmen coming up from over there. And no breakthrough here still against the Massilian Hoplites, the veteran shield warriors not being very useful. So definitely a tough situation here for the Lusitani player. Attacking a city is definitely difficult, but I think so far that if my opponent and I would have brought better siege equipment, and again, I think I should have brought pikes and a tortoise, bust a hole with the tortoise, bring the pikes to push the Roman units back, and then come in with heavy sword units to support their flanks, and I might have been able to push the Roman back. The archers on the walls are always going to be tough to deal with, but again, let's say for instance that I brought, a tortoise here and a siege tower here, and then, a tortoise here to bust a hole in the wall where the archers are at, and, and another siege tower. It would have made it to where the archers would have ended up getting bottlenecked some and not been able to get away. It would have been helpful. So I just need to think about these siege battles a little more, I think, and it would probably help me do well. So he's going to send some of his Scutari spearmen in here. Not going to do well against the Massilian Hoplites. And if you look, his Balearic slingers, they still have their slings out for now, which is good. That means he's not out of ammo, but we really need, those guys are a lot of money, and they're going to need to get some kills. But if you look, he was firing at guys on the wall. 0 kills, 49 kills here, and 4 kills there. So it kind of show you that you don't get a whole lot for firing at the guys on the wall. But anyway, the Lusitani player is trying his best to put up a fight. And my guys are still just absolutely bottlenecked at the gate. And I do have these Sacred Band now who are going to come reinforce. These Scutari, I'm just trying to keep them in the fight as long as I can. They got 120 kills against Roman infantry. That is actually quite admirable. Their cost, though, is actually a little more than a Principe. Admirable, but probably not cost effective. But again, they did very well. They're a pretty resilient unit. Their armor is their one downfall. Now the opponent, my guys actually got pushed. Unfortunately, the Triarii, I don't know if it was mass or what, but they pushed my guys back out of the capture zone. And now you can see the boiling oil turning back on because they recaptured it. So my men are going to be getting hit by boiling oil and being killed by the Triarii. So this is a very bad situation for my men. Very bad. And you can see here that my Scutari not really getting any more kills against this Triarii. These guys are very good defensively, and it can take cheaper sword units a while to kill them. Now my opponent's Equites got thoroughly defeated here by my Sacred Band, and then I'm pushing my Sacred Band further up to where it actually gets in the capture point. You can see I'm going to take the towers back away, but not before it caused horrendous damage to my Mercenary Noble Fighters, who are totally not worth it. So that's my biggest problem right now, is my Mercenary Noble Fighters have been bad. My Libyan Infantry, my Mercenary Scutarii, they all did fine. But right now, my Mercenary Noble Fighters have been wasted, and it's very, very bad. This Sacred Band, though, is doing quite well. Now, my opponent is going to bring in a rear charge with his Equites. I probably should have turned my Sacred Band around, but I did not. They're going to take more losses here than I would have liked to have seen from Equites, but, yeah, I mean, way more than I would have liked to have seen, actually. So that was painful. That was very cost-effective from those Equites there. But my guys are going to survive it and keep fighting, and they're going to fight for a long time. That Sacred Band unit is very strong. So, and it's already got a chevron, too. I'm trying to put pressure on these Triarii so I can make a breakthrough, and at this point, I'm like, well, his archers have got to be nearly out of ammunition, and I have got to do something. Just absolutely have to do something. So I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I should put my Mercenary Noble Fighters up here on the walls to help cause a break here. But I can't seem to get them to want to walk up the tower. It's giving me trouble. And I'm going to bring my elephants in. This is a huge risk for me here. It's going to be make or break, and I'm hoping for break. But honestly, I think what I should have done with these Sacred Band was just take them over here to the victory point and start capturing it. And that would have forced my opponent to have to remove some of these troops and probably created a better window for my elephants to get through. And again, a hole through the wall with the tortoise would have been much better to get my elephants through rather than going through the gates. See how much it slows them down just due to the weird pathfinding? And then this big blob of Triarii are going to be fairly well braced and heavily armored. And basically he's just hoping to shoot arrows into him while my elephants get hung up on his Triarii. Let's watch their kills though and see whether or not they get to be effective. I'm having to really spam move orders here to try and break through. And it will work, but again, my guys are under fire and eventually they're going to run amok. Fortunately, elephants are harder to run amok now, so you can typically do more damage with them. So I do get them through, and I'm like, you know what, I need to bust this Principe and Triarii over here, so I'm going to go into the back of them. Unfortunately, my elephants just don't have a lot of room to keep moving. And this is going to make them a little less useful, but again, this is the cheaper elephant unit, and the kills on it are going up very quickly. So it's very close here to determine whether or not this will be worth it. If I can get a break amongst these Roman infantry, it would be that, but my elephants now go amok, and this was bound to happen in this situation. Now, they are still going to be getting me kills while they run amok, because the Roman infantry is chasing them, but they start to run out the gates instead of like actually running over the Roman infantry, which really stunk. It limited their kills big time. But they came in, 1,400 talents, 200 kills. Meh. Maybe cost effective, but the problem is it's not going to buy me the huge breakthrough I needed. It killed a lot of these Triarii, but it's just not going to buy me the breakthrough that my men needed. They're still running amok. I do have one elephant left that will come back from routing. 213 kills. So, I mean, it was a valiant effort, but it wasn't enough. And these Syrian archers have just fired and fired and fired and not run out of ammo. But they've got to be getting close now. So again, the fight on the wall still continues. I'm going to pull another Sacred Band off the wall and bring it over here because I've had some success with this one. It's gotten 158 kills. Still probably questionable as to whether it's been cost effective. Very expensive. You know, my Mercenary Noble Fighters have been useless, and I just can't seem to get them into a good fight. Here they are, trying to go back through the gatehouse again, but again, the Triarii are actually just doing a very good job at holding them up, and I'm just not getting many kills because I can't spread out, I can't get a good charge, and so the Triarii's high defense and armor and stuff is just really making this a very tough fight. And over here on the other front, I haven't covered this in a while, so let's see what's happening. The Lusitani prayer looks like they've gotten through with their nobles somehow, and they're killing a bunch of these axe warriors, and there's thorax swords and other units here. Let's see if he's able to get through. These Lusitani nobles are tanking it. They've got battle rhythm turned on, and they are getting a lot of kills. Already up to 82 kills. So we'll see what the Lusitani player is able to accomplish. Looks like over here he's killed a bunch more Massilia and Hoplites. This was a brutal fight right here. You can see that both sides paid for that. And his Iberian swordsmen were probably just hucking javelins. Gallic hunters are now out of ammo, but the reason he doesn't want to come down is right here. The Sapaeus Lancer is kind of like patrolling the street. These bad boys would be very dangerous to the Lusitani infantry if they're getting a charge, so that's going to be interesting. As for me, I'm slowly but surely losing ground to the Romans, and I'm running out of options. So again, I now realize that a long time ago I should have gone for the capture point, so I'm going to go for it. And once you capture the capture point, the enemy team has 150 seconds to recapture it or they lose. Now some of you might be like, well, that's weird, doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't be like real life. But what it does is it creates a mechanic to where the defenders can't just wall camp. If you're going to bust through somewhere and actually get troops through, they have to be concerned about maintaining the town center. So I kind of like it, because otherwise siege battles would be a lot of this, which this one was. But I just didn't think of this earlier. Like, think about it, for instance, to send a holding force here, and then to like start sending a bunch of like maybe Iberian swordsmen or something cheap along with the Sacred Band over here to just hold the town center. Even other hoplites or something would have been cool. It would have been a nice strategy to implement. Kind of upset at myself for not having thought of it sooner. The Lusitani general's now up to 146 kills, really tanking out a lot of kills against these Massilian enemies. They're down to just over half strength, but they are going to get a lot of kills here. And at this point, my opponents are going to be realizing what I'm doing, because I'm starting to take the capture. I don't know if they were communicating or not, but you can go ahead and you can already see the Assyrian archers coming off the walls, and they're going to make a beeline for the victory point. So there we go. See, it's being captured at the moment. And I hear little Matthew. Matthew is little heir, by the way, in case you all wonder what his name is. Hear him in the other room crying. So it must be almost bedtime, which means I need to hurry up and get finished. But yeah. Anyway, yes. Check out this brutal fight here. Lusitani nobles tanking it out in the streets versus the enemy Massilians. The cool small round shields there. Definitely nice. Yeah, those Lusitani nobles are a brutal sword unit. 182 kills now. And they're just rocking right along. Yeah, let's see here. So my Sacred Band got 170 kills. Not bad. Some of it was against Equites, so I don't know how good that is. Libyan infantry getting 97 kills. Could have been better. Again, the mercenary Scutari ended up being a decent match for the Primarian Romans, but they did cost a little more. Now, again, now I'm just going to use my Sacred Band to try and block off this until the victory happens. But unfortunately, the Massilian player has now seen this, and he's going to start beelining it with these Hippeus Lancers. And this sucks, because I'm not going to have a way to keep him from getting on the town center, because I can only block one entrance. And the timer is counting at this point. And in the end, I'll let you see what happens. But if I can keep him from getting to the town center before the timer counts out, we will actually win this battle. So my Sacred Band here are going to be an impenetrable wall of those archers. But again, these Hippeus Lancers are moving my way. I am going to lose line of sight on them here in a moment as they go behind these stairs and buildings. So, yeah, right there. I lose line of sight on them. So I can't turn my back to these archers, because then they'll come on. But I can't really go stop the Hippeus Lancers either. So these guys are now going to die, unfortunately. And I'm going to go ahead and at this point just kind of fast forward and show you what happens. It's lagging really bad in the fast forward, so maybe I won't. But yeah, there we go. Anyway. Yeah, geez, it's going to lag bad in fast forward, so I may not be fast forwarding. At this point, I just decided to go ahead and I'm going to let his archers get into the back of my hoplites. I don't like this, but I'm going to turn and face the Hippeus Lancers so that they can't rear charge me while I'm just being distracted by Assyrian archers, which my guys can probably beat, even if I have my back turned to them. So again, I'm going to turn my back to the archers and face the Hippeus Lancers. Stinks, because the archers are going to get to rear attack me, and I get a morale penalty for that, but I still feel like this is my best and only option here. So yeah, they're going to get some kills because they're attacking me from the rear, but technically my guys were facing the other direction. No, it makes it look like my guys did turn around here, even though I forced them to face the other way. Yeah, so the Hippeus Lancers still get a rear charge amidst all that. That's what I was worried about. So now these Sacred Band aren't finished yet. They're going to really duke it out, and my infantry, you know, they do well. I do as much as I can with them against the superior Roman forces. But again, I think my strategy was miscalculated here, and it's definitely my fault for losing that fight. The Lusitani player looks like he's finally broken into the city because I forced the Massilian player to retreat. And you can see these Iberian cav chasing down some of his axe warriors who were trying to make for the town center. Yeah, because see, now the Massilians beelining for the victory point, realizing that I just about cost them the game. And these Sacred Band are going to fight to the death, almost, not quite, but they are going to put up a valiant fight here. And even though they got surrounded and other stuff, they've already racked up over 100 kills and have damaged that Hippeus Lancer unit pretty nicely, almost half of it dead. And now they're killing a ton of these archers and other units, and they're going to get completely surrounded here at this point. So, but yeah, they're gonna fight it out. So Carthaginian Sacred Band here will watch them put up their fight until they rout. Yeah, swordsmen, spearmen, all this kind of stuff surrounding him. It is not going to go well for him. But I am surprised they held out as good as they did and got as many kills as they did. It helped out. And let's see, yeah. Anyway, at this point, I thought about dismounting my general, getting in the fight, but I decided to remount him. And I'll see if I can get the fast forward to work again. Really need to just fast forward to the end of the battle because there's not a whole lot else that's going to happen. Lusitani player has a few troops left. I just have my general left, and I'm going to run him around and try and come back in behind the Lusitani from the gate that they captured in order to see if I can support them. Now at this point, unfortunately, the Lusitani player is out of ammunition with his Balearic Slingers, so really our opponents have this won. Now my teammate did think that if he captured 2 of the capture points, so there's 1 victory point and 2 capture points, and in early Rome 2, if you held 2 of the capture points, it would start to give you victory. It doesn't work that way anymore. You have to look here. It says, one says victory point and the other says capture point. Capture points don't do anything except give you a boost to morale whenever you are in that radius of influence. So the Lusitani player comes out here into this capture point thinking it was going to help, but really he's just getting shot to pieces by the huge number of towers that are out here. So this was a mistake he didn't realize he was making, and he said so after the game, but hey, it's no big deal. You know, you only learn these things by playing it. And so yeah, the Massilians have these 2 hoplite units. There's several Roman units left. There's really nothing we can do to win at this point, but hey, we're going down a blaze of glory. I've still got my general. There's still a few minutes left here, as you can see in the replay, and I'll go ahead and fast forward out. So this was kind of a long battle, but I hope you all enjoyed it. It was a fun one. I enjoyed it. I got to learn a few things here about siege offense and maybe some different ways to use this. Again, this was a scenario battle. I like these the best. That way you don't just get random faction picks where they just blatantly counter you. I think it's kind of fun to pick factions and lay down some rules that'll make the fight more interesting. This one was just kind of a fun kind of semi-historic matchup. I don't know that Rome ever really worked with Massalia, but anyway, I know that Hannibal worked with the Iberians, and I just figured this would be fun, and it was fun. Enemy Iberian cavs come in here. My general's going to come in as well. Scutari spearmen were throwing their javelins at the Massilian hoplites, forcing them to charge. There's a few Lusitani nobles left. These guys ended up with 273 kills. I don't know if they were worth it or not based on the units they were killing, but still a very respectable performance. Yeah, you can see the Hippeus Lancers ended up playing a big role, actually. Being able to come back and keep me from capturing the town center was clutch. So I would say that the MVP here actually does go to the Hippeus Lancers for pulling that off, because if they hadn't gotten there, I would have won the battle. There was literally, I think, 23 seconds left on the timer, and those archers had no prayer of breaking through my men, and none of the infantry would have made it on time. So yes, Hippeus Lancers get the clutch award in this battle, MVP. So GG to the Lancers. They did good. My general tried to get a few kills, but now it's pretty much just over. So good game to our opponents. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoyed something a little different here, the siege battle in a scenario. I thought it was a fun way to kind of take a look at one of these battles, so I'll try and bring you more of them. Anyway, you can see my kills here. I got the fewest. I was up against Roman infantry, and honestly, I kind of played the Roman game too much. The mercenary Scutari, if you think about it, they got 120 kills, which was basically routing a Principe unit each, which is not bad, and they got a few more kills after that, but questionable there. Elephants possibly paid for themselves, but by kills, possibly. But the problem here is that they didn't actually create a breakthrough with me. So my opponent was able to get rid of them. Libyan infantry did all right, considering their price. Late Libyan hoplites, I never expected kills out of them, so they absorbed some arrows. The mercenary Gallic warriors, I just straight up misused these guys. Honestly, I should have sent 3 siege towers onto the walls, and maybe just ignored the gates, and then again brought a tortoise. And then I could have gotten these guys on the walls, brought them down, and gone for the victory point, and supported maybe a couple of them with the Sacred Band. Again, just maybe reworked my army a little bit to where that worked better. Obviously, my opponents would have come tried to stop me, but it would have been an interesting way to try and force them away from the walls, giving the Lusitani and I a way to break through. Anyway, I know I sound like Heir of Skynet right now, so I'll hurry. Lusitani player, here's his kills. This Lusitani noble doing very well. None of the rest of his infantry really getting what they needed to. 150 kills on that Iberian cav is mostly those archers at the end. Let's see what else. So the Roman players kills here. These Triarii, no, the Principes just did pretty well here. These three did. Triarii didn't get a ton of kills, but really clutched it out, holding my men out of the gates. And then these Syrian archers all did very well also. And then the Massilian player, 200 kills in these Massilian hoplites. That is beastly. That was great. And then again, the clutch lancers here, the Hippeus lancers. Anyway, GG. Hope you all enjoyed it. See you soon.